All right, good morning. This is take 3. The first one I forgot to download, and the second one I didn't download it correctly. So let's try this again. Today is day 2 of SAS 4, Student Activity Sheet 4, Sampling, Design, and Methods. This is from the Unit 3 of Advanced Quantitative Reasoning, Statistical Studies. So we were talking about the different types of methods, and if you recall from yesterday, there are 5 methods to sample a population. There is convenience sampling, there is simple random sampling, there's stratified random sampling, there's cluster sampling, and then there is systematic sampling. So, describe briefly how each technique could be used in the potato chip investigation. Specifically, which techniques are the most appropriate? Now, I want you to think about this for a minute before we actually answer this first bell ringer question. Potato chips, they don't necessarily have to be such and such, right? But if we're going to stratify, say we have different flavors, 5 different flavors, we would separate into 5 different groups, make sure we have an equal amount from each one randomly selected. That's called stratified random sampling. So that's one way to do it. All right, how about this? Mr. Mikado decided to test whether helping his students with their homework would actually improve their scores on his test. So out of his 7 classes, he took his 3rd and 7th period and worked their homework with them. What type of sampling technique was this? Okay, so he separated them into groups. Now we could call that stratified, but how did he help them? Did he use a portion of each? That would be stratified random. But he didn't do that, did he? No, he used 2 different periods. He stratified them into groups. He separated them into groups. And then he used 2 of his 7 groups, 2 of his 7 periods. That's called cluster sampling, okay? So let's move on. Good things. I found on Marketplace, a gentleman about 10 miles away from me is taking a barn down. He's going to let me come take all the wood. I'm going to help him take it down, make sure all the trash is thrown, and hopefully I will have enough wood to build something on my property. I'll keep you posted, but that's a good thing in my life. All right, random number tables. I told you we'd go over random number tables today. It's kind of a difficult concept. It seems simple, but the application is difficult to use if you don't understand numbers really well. So a random number table is a sequence of numbers that are used to select participants for a group. Okay, for example, this is a good example of a random number table. Okay, now, how do you use it? Let's see. If you have 100 schools and you wish to select 12 of them to help with a study, you assign each school a number between 0, 0, and 99. Then read the table from left to right and select the schools as their numbers appear. The 12 schools are 24, 19, 83, 72, 41, 52, that's 6 schools, 57, 91, 8, 49, 21. Now here's where we run into a problem. We want 12 schools. We can't use the same school twice. So we've already had 24 way back here, so we're not going to use 24. And then in the next row, 91. Guess what? We already had 91 right here, so we can't use it again. And then 21 right here, we can't use it again, so the 12th school is 27. So those are your 12 schools. Well, what if you had 1,000 schools and you needed 12 of them? You assign each school a number between 0, 0, and 99. What are the first 5 of the 12 schools to be selected? Let's see. 2, 4, 1, 9, 8, 3, 7, 2, 4, 1, 5, 2, and 5, 7, 9. There you go. It's that simple, folks. Now, this part is simple. To avoid using the same numbers for every study, you can start from a different row. You read 3 digits at a time, starting with the 3rd row. What 5 schools do you put in your sample? That would be 298, 477, 911, 677, and 859. Now, that seems simple. Here's the difficult part. You can actually use your calculator to as a random number generator. Now, I'm going to show you how to do that. I have a calculator I can pull up on my screen. You're going to see the calculator first. This is a TI-84. It's an emulation on the computer. And I'm going to seed it. I'm going to put any number in there. Any number, that's what it says. Seed the calculator, any number. So I'm going to say any number, let's say 8. Okay, and then STO and then the arrow, that's right here, STO and the number. And then I'm going to hit math. So that's right here, math. I'm going to move over to PRB or problem right there, PROB. I guess I should change that, huh? Let me do that. OB. Oh, let me capitalize it. Looks better. All right. I'm going to have to, but I got to finish this. All right. And then I'm going to go down and hit random integer. So I randomly select one between 1, 10, and I want 5 numbers. Oh, I think I did something wrong. I did. Sorry, let me let me clear this real quick and I'll start over. Second quit. All right. So now math prob, math, PROB, and then the enter is all I need to hit, 1 rand. That's going to give me one number, and that number is 8. So any number. I seeded the calculator, so I'd start it with 8. So now I want to find 5 numbers between 1 and 10. So I'm going to go math, PRB, scroll down to random integer, right there, enter, put 1, 10, and I want 5 numbers between 1 and 10. And then I'm going to hit enter, enter, and it gives me the numbers. Notice that the 9s repeat. Any numbers can repeat because in this one, it doesn't say to not repeat. There is a function that does not repeat. Let's start here. Math, PROB, and see this down at the bottom, random integer, no repeat. Enter. I want a number between 1 and 10 that doesn't repeat, okay? And I want 5. Let's say I want 5 of them. So I'm going to enter it, and notice that none of the numbers repeat. 7, 10, 1, 2, 4. All right, so let's get back to this lesson. That's how you use a random number generator on the calculator. And do you remember what car you liked best when you were in the 7th grade, and what car do you like best now? Are the cars different because your tastes have matured or because the new car styles have been introduced? So they surveyed school-level students between 7th and 12th grade. And they want to use, out of the 2,714 kids, 60 students to see what kind of cars they like, okay? Notice that the 8th grade class is much larger than the 12th grade class. 8th grade class has 511, 12th is only 337. One way to fairly represent each grade is to use a stratified sample. We've done this here. What we've done here, and I'm going to pull this out again. I'm going to use the calculator to explain it. Let me clear it out. So, in this case, I'm going to pull this over so all we see is the table, and we can see all of the calculator. There's 476 7th grade students out of the 2,714 total students. So if I want to know the percentage of it, I simply have to divide the number of 7th grade students by the total number of students. And that gives me that fraction of 7th grade students out of the whole, 0.17. And notice that I have that number here listed at 17.539%. Now, if I want to know what this number is, the number of students for my sample out of the 7th grade, I just multiply that fraction or that decimal by 60, and I'll get my number. So it's 10.52, and I'll round up to 11. And I do that for all these numbers. So 8th grade, 511 divided by 2,714, and that equals 0.188. I'm going to multiply that by 60, and I get my total, 11.29, also 11 out of 60. So I'm going to come down, I'm going to do the 12th grade. That's 337 students out of a total of 2,714. That fraction is 0.124. I'm going to multiply that number by 60 to get my number out of 60, 7.45, or 7 seniors I'll actually put into this experiment or survey. Now, I want you to notice something. These fractionals right here of 60 add up to 60. But these numbers that are rounded do not add up to 60. If you run into this problem where your total doesn't run into 60, find the number in this column right here that is closest to round up that got rounded down, and you're going to round it up. So in this case, you have a 10.46, 11.3, a 9.4, and a 7.45. The closest to 0.5 is this 10.46. So that would round up to 11. Okay. And as you can see, the 10th grade class is only 3 less than the 7th grade class. So it'd be the best model to use up to 11, and that will give you 60 in the total. Anyway, that's pretty much it in the nutshell for the lesson. There is an assignment in the Google Classroom. I'm going to launch you with the same launch I gave you yesterday's assignment. Do the assignment as soon as possible. Get it done so you don't have to worry about it later. Getting close to the end of the semester, get everything done as soon as possible. In the meantime, y'all, I want you to be blessed and be a blessing.